insights, picks, results. This is Wizard Sports Picks. Beyond the Lines.
Welcome to another edition of Beyond the Lines presented by Wizard Sports Picks for Sunday, December 21st. Ian Cameron with you, and we're back to talk NFL Week 16. It's a great Sunday slate, and it is going to be a great Sunday card for me on the website at wizardsportspicks.com. It has been a tremendous NFL season. In fact, we're having very good, profitable seasons across the board. NFL, NBA, college basketball, NHL, all right now are plus units and profitable so far this season. But my NFL season in particular, that one takes the cake. It's been just a phenomenal NFL season over at Wizard Sports Picks. 21-13, 62% winners, 642 profit in the NFL in the last 30 days at wizardsportspicks.com. And for the entire season, I am ranked number one of all our handicappers at Wizard Sports Picks in the NFL. Season long, 47-30, 61%, $1,283 of profit. So $1,283, the dollar amount of profit. So that's basically 12.83 units of profit this season in the NFL at Wizard Sports Picks. I am proud of what we've done so far. It's been a great season. We have been seeing the board well, and I urge you to get on board with my NFL premium card on Sunday. It has been a great season, and I look forward to keeping it going. So make sure you check that out, but also check out all the other great handicappers on the website, wizardsportspicks.com. Tons of great handicappers, some of the best handicappers and bettors on the planet, all at your disposal at Wizard Sports Picks. So get on board, get yourself some premium picks, and check out wizardsportspicks.com. A lot of our guys and our handicappers on the site are in great form too, especially in college football with the playoff games so far. So make sure you check that out. Bowl games galore over the next 2 weeks. NBA, college basketball, NHL continuing down the stretch of the NFL regular season. So this is a great time of year around the holiday season to invest in any of our handicappers and their daily premium selections over at wizardsportspicks.com. All right, let's get into some NFL previews and some picks for NFL Week 16. I've got 3 games lined up, and the first one, you can make a case this is one of the biggest games on the card for this upcoming Sunday. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay, Carolina, the Bucs, Panthers battling for first in the NFC South Division. And only one of these teams is going to make the playoffs, because only the winner of this division is going to make the playoffs. So it's a huge game, big stakes on the line between these two teams. Tampa Bay 3-point road favorites, 45.5 the total in this game. The side is tough. I will tell you right now, I would be leaning Tampa Bay here in this game from a side perspective. Obviously, though, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have some serious problems right now, and the problems are holding on to leads. We saw them blow that game, a 14-point lead last week against the Atlanta Falcons, and lose that football game. Saw them lose to the New Orleans Saints the week before that. It has been very, very, very disappointing to see what we've gotten from the Buccaneers here in recent games. Remember, early in the season, they got off to that great start. Baker Mayfield was an MVP candidate to a lot of people. And now you see where this team has fallen. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of injuries on this football team, and Baker Mayfield's been less than 100% for some time. That's certainly been one of the issues here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, no question about that. But the defense has been not the same either. They have not been stopping the run. They have fallen to 18th in the NFL as far as against the run is concerned. When you look at Carolina, this is an offense that's needed the run game to lend support to Bryce Young. They've needed Rico Dowdle. They've needed Chuba Hubbard to be able to run the football, take some pressure off of Bryce Young. They should be able to have success running the football. This has just not been that same Tampa Bay defense, other than Vita Vea, who's, by the way, going through a back issue that he's had for much of the season. You could tell he's playing probably a little bit hampered with that back issue. But other than that, they have not had a lot of players and answers players to step up and answers to stop the run, this Tampa Bay team. And that's concerning going into this matchup because if they can run the ball, Carolina, it just opens everything up then for Bryce Young and the passing game. What I will say about Tampa Bay is that Baker Mayfield has definitely not looked himself. He hasn't looked at his best in recent weeks. But this could be the time for him to really take a big step forward and improve here in this game because he's got a bit of an extra bit of time off. They played last Thursday, so it's a bit of a mini bye week here for the Buccaneers. It's going to give Baker Mayfield a little bit more chance, to get a little healthier for this game. And certainly from an injury standpoint, things are looking up for the Tampa offense. The offensive line looks like it could be healthier this week, and they've got pretty much their full complement of receivers back again, which is great to see. We saw Mike Evans come back against Atlanta last week, return from injury, and he was absolutely terrific. A dominant performance from him, even though they lost to Atlanta. And now you've got him. You've got Chris Godwin. You've got Emeka Egbuka, the great rookie. Don't forget about Tez Johnson, the way he stepped up. And all of a sudden, you got a boatload of weapons. Bucky Irving has come back in the backfield to run the football for this team. He's come back from injury and looked solid. And remember, Carolina's another team that has some issues at times stopping the run. I think both teams can move the football here in this game. So while I lean Tampa Bay, I think the total is where I'm most keen on in this game. Is what I'm most keen on from a betting perspective here in this game. So for my official pick for Tampa Bay, Carolina, this big battle for first in the NFC South, I'm going to go with over 45.5 in this NFC South showdown on Sunday between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Carolina Panthers. All right, Kansas City Chiefs, Tennessee Titans. We've got Kansas City 3-point road favorites in Nashville, 37.5 the total in this game. And this is just one of those classic late season situational handicapping spots where you simply just have to ask yourself, a Kansas City Chiefs team that's used to winning Super Bowls, being in Super Bowls, being in AFC championship games. Let's not forget, this team had made the AFC championship game in 7 straight seasons prior to this year. This is a team that's used to competing for titles. And now the Kansas City Chiefs enter this game for the first time in years in a situation where they know they're not making the playoffs. They know they're not going to be able to compete for another Super Bowl. And you just have to ask yourself, strictly from a psyche and a mentality standpoint, how can you trust the Kansas City Chiefs here in this spot? Maybe you can. I can't. And I think the writing is on the wall with how Andy Reid has decided to put his roster together for this game on Saturday. This looks like a glorified preseason game, exhibition game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Almost like they're treating this like a game in August as opposed to a game in late December. It has all the look of a team that the coach senses it. Players have fought through a lot. There's been some injuries with this team. They've played a ton of football in these last 7 years where they've at least gotten to the AFC championship game, the multiple Super Bowl appearances, the multiple Super Bowl championships. And you just have to wonder. The gas tank's empty, and I think the team looks like a team. At least, and certainly when you look at what Andy Reid's decided to do, resting so many of his key players on both sides of the football, you just wonder if this team is ready to see the season end. It certainly looks and feels that way to me. And when you look at Kansas City, they're going to sit many of their best starters on both sides of the football, 3/5 of their offensive line. That's right, 3 top tackles on the offensive line. They're all going to be out for this game. They're going to be missing Trent McDuffie in the secondary. Leo Chanel, who's a terrific linebacker, is going to be out. Rashee Rice going to miss this game for the Kansas City Chiefs, and the wide receiving core is going to be a bit shorthanded. And, of course, Patrick Mahomes with the ACL injury last week, his season's over. So the mustache man, Gardner Minshew, with basically a patchwork team around him, is going to be asked to go into Tennessee and win this football game. That's not something I'm doing. I'm trusting them to do, especially as a road favorite. Now, I get the trepidation if you don't trust Tennessee. This is a bad football team. They've had a dismal season. But the Tennessee Titans have not quit. If you just look at last week against San Francisco, yeah, they had trouble on defense. They did not stop Brock Purdy and the Niners offense. They were able to move the ball through the air, on the ground throughout that game. But many times when San Francisco scored, Tennessee responded. And we did see progress from the offense, from Cam Ward, from Pollard running the football. The offensive line was at least a little bit better. They moved the football for extended portions of that game on the road against San Francisco. It's certainly something that you can say, you know what, it's a positive here for the Tennessee Titans going into this game for sure. And so when you look at this matchup here for Tennessee, with obviously a Kansas City team resting so many key players, in particular on the defensive side of the football, there's an opportunity here maybe for Cam Ward to continue to have some success. And maybe this is a chance for Tony Pollard to be able to give Ward and the passing game a little bit of a support system in the run game as well. And Tennessee, like I said, I don't think they've given up. I think the effort's still there. And they showed it to me last week against San Francisco that even though the Niners kept scoring, Tennessee kept answering. I think the Titans will come into this game, home game late in the year, a legit chance to get a win. And I just think they are going to be a team that's just more invested into this game than the Kansas City Chiefs. And that alone is enough for me to take a chance here and back the Tennessee Titans, even though they're only getting a field goal here in this spot as a home underdog. I think it's a situational bet worth making. I expect the Tennessee Titans to actually win this game outright, but I will take the Tennessee Titans here. Tennessee +3 against Kansas City for my second pick here on this edition of Beyond the Lines. And we will wrap up this edition of the show with one of the games in the late afternoon kickoff window on Sunday, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Detroit Lions. Big-time playoff implications here. Detroit is fighting for their very playoff lives right now. They enter this game on the outside looking in the NFC wildcard race. Pittsburgh is trying to fend off the Baltimore Ravens for first place in the AFC North, so there is plenty on the line here in this game. Detroit 6.5, 7-point home favorites. 52 is the total, pretty much across the board. There are some 51.5s out there as well. This game for the Detroit Lions, coming off the loss last week on the road against the LA Rams, puts Detroit in a very familiar spot where they have been not just good, they have been great. They have been dominant, almost unbeatable in this very spot during the Dan Campbell era. And the spot I'm talking about is the Detroit Lions when they come off a loss. They have been absolutely spectacular off a loss in the Dan Campbell era. Very rarely has this team lost 2 games in a row straight up and against the spread. The numbers for Detroit off a loss are phenomenal. And of course, they're coming off that loss to the Rams last week. I expect a bounce back performance here from the Detroit Lions in this game, back home at Ford Field. We remember what they did the last time they played at home 2 weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. When we last saw them play in this building, they put a 44 spot on the board, 44 points in a 44-31 victory over the Dallas Cowboys. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense. People may look at the Baltimore game 2 weeks ago, maybe think that the Pittsburgh defense is back on track. I don't think the Baltimore offense is back on track, so I don't fully buy that. People may look at the Miami game on Monday Night Football and say, great performance. Maybe the Steeler defense is back on track. Again, I don't buy it. The Miami offense, it's been up and down. Same with Tua Tagovailoa all year. And that Miami team, especially Tua, never functions, never operates with efficiency offensively, especially in cold weather on the road. And we saw that again last week. So I'm taking that Pittsburgh defensive performance with a grain of salt. This is where we're going to find out if Pittsburgh's defense is back, because I think they're going to look more like the defense that gave up 26 and couldn't stop the run against the Buffalo Bills a few weeks ago, or maybe look more like the Pittsburgh defense that gave up 31 points on the road in a loss to the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams a few weeks ago. That's the defense I think we're going to see here, and they still may be without T.J. Watt for this game. Yeah, they were able to shut down Miami, who doesn't play well in cold weather anyway, without T.J. Watt. It's going to be a lot different dealing with Jared Goff, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, and David Montgomery out of the backfield. and all the weapons Detroit has. We know how great they have been, with this offense at Ford Field over the years. Like I said, 44 points in their 44-30 win against Dallas. They have just been very good offensively here at Ford Field for years. I would expect them to be able to move the football and put up points here in this game. The question is going to be, does Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have now scored 55 points in their last 2 games combined, can they match Detroit here in this game? That's going to be the question here. Detroit, 4 straight games have gone over the total. 4-0 run to the over for them. Pittsburgh, when you look at their recent games, obviously they've scored 27 plus now, and we have to give the Steelers credit for this. They have scored 27 plus in 4 of their last 5 games. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you 2 picks for this game. I'm going to give you, because the part of me, I like the over 51.5, which is the best number out there. FanDuel still has 51.5 for this. I'm going to recommend over 51.5 for this game, riding this 4-game over streak with the Detroit Lions. But part of me is still a little bit doubting, I should say, a little bit, if Pittsburgh is going to be able to just have a ton of success offensively. I really do think Detroit is going to move the football with a ton of success here against this Pittsburgh defense, a defense that's also coming into town on a short week after playing Monday Night Football. And I think the Lions offense will work here. The bet that I like the most is Detroit team total over in this game. You can find the Detroit Lions team total over. Most books have it below. Pretty much every sports book that you can find has the team total below the key number of 31. So I think that is a good look. I expect Detroit to get to at least 31 points in this game. Yeah, you can find it at Detroit team total over 30.5, minus 104 is the best number and best price out there with that. But I'm also going to give you that over 51.5, the full game total to the over in this game, because I think Detroit's going to get 31. And I think there's a legitimate chance Pittsburgh can at least get you 21, 24 in this game and do enough to get this game over the total. There won't be any weather issues, obviously, with this game being indoors. So I'll give you 2 picks on this Steelers-Lions game. Detroit Lions team total over 30.5, minus 104, and also Pittsburgh-Detroit over 51.5, minus 114 for my 2 picks here for the Steelers and Lions to wrap up this edition of Beyond the Lines. That is a wrap for this edition of the show. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ian Cameron. Again, it has been a spectacular NFL season for me at Wizard Sports Picks, and I intend to continue it here in Week 16. So get on board with some premium picks for this NFL card, courtesy of Ian Cameron, wizardsportspicks.com. Check out all the other great handicappers as well. Tons of our great handicappers in great form. So check it out at wizardsportspicks.com. Hit the like button on the way out as we wrap up this video. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ian Cameron. Enjoy the games and good luck. Merry Christmas to all of you and your families as well. Enjoy the games and good luck. All the best with your wagers. And thanks for watching another edition of Beyond the Lines for Sunday, December 21st, presented by Wizard Sports Picks.